Single mom texted her location to the wrong number. Minutes later, a billionaire boss brought roses. It was one of those mornings. Rain tapped softly against the windshield as Emily fumbled with her phone, trying to keep her toddler, Mia, entertained in the back seat. She had been running late to her part-time job, juggling groceries, daycare drop-offs, and bills that never seemed to shrink. Every day felt like a tightrope walk, and today was no exception. Frustrated, she sent a quick text to her friend. "Running late. I'm stuck at the corner of 5th and Pine. Can you grab Mia?" A beat later, her phone buzzed. But it wasn't her friend. It was a response from someone she didn't recognize. "I can help." "Stay put." Emily blinked, thinking it was a wrong number. But before she could reply, her toddler tugged on her sleeve. "Mommy, look!" Mia squealed, pointing out the window. Pulling into a nearby parking spot, Emily saw a sleek black car ease to a stop. She froze. A well-dressed man stepped out, holding a single bouquet of red roses. He smiled warmly. "Emily?" he asked. She shook her head. I think you've got the wrong person." He chuckled, setting the roses on the passenger seat. "Maybe, but my gut says someone needed a little help today." Emily's heart raced. She glanced at the bouquet, fresh, vibrant, and perfect. I don't know what to say." He shrugged, his expression gentle. "No need for thanks. Just promise me you'll accept a little kindness now and then. Life can be harsh, but it doesn't have to be lonely." As he drove off, Emily felt a strange mix of awe and disbelief, but the encounter left her shaken in a good way. By the time she arrived at work, her coworkers noticed the roses and her wide-eyed smile. She shared the story, laughing and shaking her head in wonder. That evening, Emily reflected on the day. She realized that kindness, whether intentional or accidental, had the power to shift a moment, even a life. She tucked Mia into bed, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in weeks. From that day forward, Emily carried the unexpected gift of humanity with her. She volunteered at a local shelter, helped neighbors in small ways, and even learned to text carefully. And every now and then she smiled at the thought that sometimes a wrong number could be exactly what you needed. Thus, she realized, didn't always hand you roses, but sometimes the universe had a funny way of making sure you still smelled them. The next morning, Emily woke up to Mia's cheerful chatter, but her mind kept drifting back to the stranger with the roses. She wondered who he was, why he had taken a moment out of his busy life to help someone he didn't even know. Weeks passed, and life returned to its usual rhythm. Bills, work, daycare, and errands. But the memory of that rainy morning stayed with her. It became a quiet reminder that even in the hardest days, small acts of kindness could leave an outsized mark. One evening, as Emily was picking up groceries, she noticed a familiar black car parked outside the store. Her heart skipped a beat. Out stepped the man, this time with a smile, a single coffee cup in hand instead of roses. "I hope I'm not intruding," he said softly, holding out the coffee. "I figured you might need this more than I do." Emily laughed, shaking her head. "You have a way of showing up at the right time," he shrugged. "Sometimes the right time finds you, even when you don't expect it." As they talked, Emily realized this wasn't just about a bouquet or a cup of coffee. It was about someone seeing her, not just as a struggling single mom, but as a person with dreams, struggles, and worth. And in that moment, she understood something profound. Kindness has a ripple effect. A small gesture could restore hope, spark courage, and even inspire someone to pay it forward. Emily started noticing little opportunities to do the same. She helped an elderly neighbor carry groceries, volunteered to read at Mia's daycare, and even started a small online fundraiser for families in need. And each time she remembered the man who had brought roses on a rainy morning, a stranger who became a quiet reminder that humanity still exists in unexpected places. Months later, Emily received a package on her doorstep, a note that read, "For all the kindness you've given the world, here's a little for you. Keep shining." Inside was a single, perfectly red rose and a small card with no signature. Emily smiled through tears. Some mysteries she realized were meant to stay that way. From that day forward, she carried the lesson in her heart that the world could be heavy, unpredictable, and unfair, but a single act of kindness, even from a stranger, could make it feel brighter. And in that light she learned to live, not just survive. Mia curled up beside her on the couch that evening, and Emily whispered, "See, sweetheart? Even when life seems hard, there's always someone ready to bring a little light. And someday we'll do the same for someone else." And in the quiet of their small living room, with the rose on the table catching the last of the evening sun, Emily felt hope blossom, knowing that sometimes the wrong number leads to exactly the right moment. Days turned into weeks, and Emily found herself replaying that rainy morning over and over in her mind. Who was the man with the roses? Why had he gone out of his way to help her and Mia? The memory warmed her heart even on the toughest days. One late afternoon, Emily was rushing to pick up Mia from daycare, juggling her tote bag and phone, when a familiar black sedan pulled up beside her. She froze. The man from that morning stepped out, but this time, he held a small bag of groceries instead of roses. "I thought you might need a hand," he said with a soft smile. "No agenda, just helping." Emily felt a lump in her throat. She shook her head, laughing nervously. "I don't know what to say." "You really didn't have to." He shrugged, leaning casually against the car. "Sometimes it's not about having to. It's about noticing when someone needs a little help." Mia, sitting in the back seat, peeked out with a shy smile. "Thank you," she said in her small voice. Emily's eyes softened. Her daughter's innocence made the moment even more meaningful. That evening, Emily reflected on the kindness she had received. She realized it wasn't just about roses or coffee. It was the reminder that there are people willing to notice others' struggles, even in fleeting, unexpected ways. She made a quiet promise to herself. She would pass it forward. Over the following months, Emily began finding small ways to help others. She volunteered at the local community center, helped neighbors with groceries, and even organized a small fundraiser for families in need. Each act reminded her of the stranger's simple gesture and how deeply it had touched her life. One night, as Emily and Mia settled on the couch with a storybook, there was a soft knock at the door. Emily opened it to find a single red rose in a small glass vase, accompanied by a note. "For all the kindness you've shown the world." "Keep shining," Emily smiled, tears brimming in her eyes. Sometimes, she realized, the universe rewards those who embrace compassion. And sometimes even a wrong number can be the exact right connection. Mia cuddled closer, whispering, "Mommy, maybe we can help someone tomorrow too." Emily hugged her daughter tightly. "Yes, sweetheart, we will. And we'll keep noticing the little ways the world shows kindness, just like that stranger did for us." In the quiet of their cozy living room, with the rose on the table catching the soft daylight, Emily felt a renewed sense of hope. Life was still unpredictable, still challenging, but it was also full of small, beautiful gestures that reminded her that humanity, generosity, and love exist everywhere, even in the most unexpected places.